Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I wonder if you guys had a crazy day in the market like I had. I went from a zero this morning to a hero. Now, I don't mind that move at all. Sometimes I wish I didn't start out as a zero, but if that's what it takes to make it, then that's what I'm going to do. But had a very interesting day, and we'll go over that here in a second. But one message I want to share with you today is about screen time. There is no substitute for screen time, but I need to qualify screen time. Screen time is not just sitting in front of your computer screen watching a chart go up and down, go up and down. That's not screen time. That's seat time. And seat time means absolutely nothing. Screen time is when you are actively engaged in what's going on that computer screen. You're actively looking at the chart, looking for setups, watching how the stock reacts in certain areas when it hits a level of support, a level of resistance. When it runs into this moving average or that moving average, when you see this pattern set up, how does it react when it looks like we're about to break out of a bull flag or break down out of a bear flag? How does it look right before it breaks out? What kind of clues can you get that's going to trigger you to take an entry or to have better conviction about the setup? These are things that you're doing. So you either have to be trading in a simulator or just paper trading, you're just writing stuff down. Or at night, like I did, I was in the market replay simulator for hours at night. But I wasn't just sitting there. I was actively engaged in what was going on. So whenever we talk about screen time, we're talking about not the time that you're just sitting there looking. We're talking about the time where you actively engaged in the market through the chart or charts that you're watching on your screen. But just think about it. Think about when you were in school. Let's say you're in science class and all you did was just sit there and look at the teacher and listen. You never engaged in any work, any class work, never engaged in any experiments. So how are you going to be able to apply the concepts that they're teaching you to your everyday life if you don't do the experiments? The experiments are designed to help you learn and apply these principles. And it's the same thing with trading. If you don't actively participate and you're not focused on learning about what's happening on the charts, tracking a setup, you're wasting your time. And you're never going to be able to actually make it happen. So if I could, sell screen time and that has all my experience piled into it, I'd sell it to you. But you can't. You have to do the work. You have to put in that time. And remember, it has to be focused time. It can't be something that you're just doing, just for the heck of it. It just doesn't work that way. Thursday, we are having our free live day trading webinar, which was our sneak peek Wednesday. The market's closed tomorrow in honor of former President George H.W. Bush. And, we're going to respect that and honor him tomorrow. So Thursday at 8:30, I'll be doing my free live day trading webinar. You could come in, watch live as I go through my morning routine, how I pick the stocks, how I vet the stocks, and watch the first 2 hours of trading live. So you get to see me take trades live, win, lose, or draw. Same you're looking at the same platform that members in the community are watching. You're hearing me interact with them. So you get a real good feel for what it's like in our community. Now, for any subscription, whether it be monthly, quarterly, yearly, you get access to everything in the community. I do not have anything qualified or different levels of this or levels of that. Everybody is as equally important in the community as the next person, whether you're a monthly subscriber, quarterly, or yearly. You're all equally as valuable and as important, and you all get the same amount of time. You all get access to the videos and the recordings to the live webinars that we do. You get access to the Sunday morning market strategy session / swing trade session. You get access to all of the live classes and webinars that we do after chat, sometimes during the week. So you get all of that. So it doesn't matter how you subscribe. All of you guys are in my inner circle once you join. So come check us out Thursday right here on YouTube, starting at about 8:30. All right, so we usually start every day looking at the SPY or the market. For me, again, I relate the S&P 500. I relate the market better to the SPY. It's just something that helps me, so, and this is what I use. So remember, we've been looking at this, and let me just bring this chart down here. Okay, so we've been looking at this level here, where you can see where we tapped it once, tapped it twice, and then we didn't quite tap it, but we knew there was a chance that we were going to fail to push this. Third time, either third time's a charm or we coming back hard. And we came back hard today. This was the largest drop since October. I think this is the biggest drop we had this month or since back in March. But, this is a huge one. Now, last week, we had the biggest recovery, since we had the big sell-off. We had the biggest gain last week that we had all year. And so we follow it up this week with, one of the largest sell-off days that we've had this year. So everything is just kind of crazy. And it's, even though they came out with a truce on the trade war, it might have made people feel good for a minute or two, but there's some real issues that still need to be resolved. And there's some people that are really uneasy about it. So look at the volume here. We had a nice spike in volume today. We traded 175 million shares. Real nice spike in volume. Now, let's see. Here is the descending resistance that we broke through on Friday. Monday we had gapped up here, but this was just weak. It was a weekday, and we followed it up with some very good weakness. We are back below this descending resistance, and back below the 20 EMA, 20 SMA. We're just back below all of that. Looking for it to continue to be weak tomorrow. Looking for it to sell off. Not tomorrow, but Thursday. I sold out all of my TVIX, we'll talk about in a minute. I'm not holding anything over this holiday. I'm not holding anything. So I'm completely all in cash, and we'll be looking to pick up where we left off on Thursday. Now, last night, I know in the video I was saying I didn't want to hold this over, that TVIX position over, but I actually kind of fell asleep and forgot about it. Is honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I look like a genius if I said I read this and, you know, I was reading it and I was like, I really don't have the best feeling in the world. I know it can sell off, but it might not. And I was waiting until almost 8 o'clock and ended up falling asleep and forgetting about it. But it worked out really good today, as you'll see. But this, and here's some, let's see, ascending support here coming in through this. So you can see we were forming a little triangle here, and it just couldn't break through it. So now we're pulling back. I'm expecting a pullback to potentially this level tomorrow. If we pull back, or before the end of the week, I'm expecting a pullback here, and then another assault on this 281 level. So, you know, we'll see in the coming days what's going to happen. But that's my hypothesis. The thing about the market is so many things can affect it. So I don't know whether we get some news over this holiday that we have. You never know what can happen overseas that can affect the market. So for me, I'm just as well stay out and wait and see if my thesis is going to be right. This is a level here. This 270. This here is a nice level of support. Around 270.50. Now, this is a serious level. Between here, 270 on up, you know, this is a pretty significant here. We hit it here. We hit it here. Here, you know, this is where we kind of closed today. So we're still sitting on it. It's still showing some weakness, but, you know, we'll see. I don't think this right here, you know, has much right now. I don't think this really means much. I'm not really keen on this. I think what it's going to suck down to is here. If we can get below this tomorrow, if we can open below this level, we'll probably get sucked into this ascending support here. And then from there, we'll have to assess, you know, what it's looking like. So that's what I'm looking for on in the market tomorrow. Really, really good day. I think the S&P overall, I think it was down 3.3%, a little over 3%. So, you know, it took a pretty good hit today. So we'll see if it's going to continue tomorrow or not. So let's go to, okay, TOL. This was my nemesis this morning. This hit the scan a little bit late. You know, a lot of stocks are changing their earnings around because of the holiday tomorrow. And I believe this was one of them. And you can see it, we were gapping down. And you know me, if we're gapping down and we're close to the 52-week low, I'm licking my chops. I'm looking for, you know, a big sell-off. Number two, we weren't down at least 5%, so SSR was not on at the open. It wasn't on when I went to trade this stock. But boy, when I got in it, we got through the 5-minute opening range low, SSR kicked in. It hit, it had dropped 5%, short sale restriction kicked in, and that was the end. And I was saying it, you guys in chat heard me. I was like, it's dead, it's over. SSR kicked in, this trade is done. Why I didn't take it off, I convinced myself that this trade was still in play, which it was. It was still in play. It was below the VWAP. We were still hanging around the opening range low. There was still a chance we could lose it. But we didn't, ended up getting stopped out. And then I decided that I'm going to be looking for a reversal. So this wasn't a revenge trade. I was patient. You can see I waited for it to actually set up. On the 2-minute chart was showing that we were starting to roll over. So I got a piece. I shorted it here, and it kind of hung down here for a minute, and then it went boop and kind of went up all day, with the exception of, I think, the last 30 minutes to an hour where it started selling off some. But 2 stop outs, I'd hit my max loss. I knew if I stopped out twice at around $150 that I was going to be right at my max loss for the day. So, I hit it. Now, yeah, I could have jumped in and traded TVIX, as you'll see. I could have jumped in and traded it in this account and made all my money back. But I have to stick to my rules. Once I hit my max loss, I have to stop trading. I have to. If I don't, let's say I kept going and I ended up losing $150 more, then what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where, I had to do the right thing. I had to follow my rules and be the example. So after I lost, I shut it down. It was done for the day. So in a small account, I'm down $310, which is what's that? My mind's not working. 5%. That's about 5% of my account I lost today. Those type of drawdowns will hurt you if you do that consistently. If I end up with 2 or 3 days in a row where I'm hitting my max loss, then I'm going to go back to the basics. Okay, I'm going back to smaller size. Like in this case, I would trade 100 shares and I would reduce my max loss, kind of bring everything back in until I get myself back on track. But I had a big loss day like this last week where I hit my max loss and we ended up the week okay. Really expect the same this week as well. So I'm not crying over spilt milk over it. Now, I took a trade on Apple because it was selling off. I waited. This time I waited for it to make its move up. Okay, you can see here, we opened like Apple does. It tried to push up. It pulled back. We pushed up, put in a lower high. Here I would have waited for another candle. Like if this candle closed below the VWAP and 20 and all of that, and then this candle would have made a lower low, I would have jumped in. But this didn't. So I had to wait. We sold back through this. This closed below VWAP. Got this candle open, sold off. As soon as we broke the low of this candle, I was in. And, you know, really nice move down to, what was that? Oh, this has got, oh, okay, this is the last one is jumbling on top. So I got in at 181. I got, okay, all of this is one order at 180. So I took half off right here at 180. And then, you know, all I was doing was hitting levels. I was just hitting daily levels, and I don't have it drawn on this chart. I should have drawn the levels. But that's what I was doing. I was just hitting daily levels. Here, I kind of got messed up. I actually took it all off and then got back in. And then and then I added 150 shares and just started doing crazy stuff. So I just had to stop with it. This ended up selling off down through 176 like I wanted it to. But, you know, the price action started looking crazy. I started trading crazy. I think mentally I was just exhausted and really needed to clear my head. But, you know, still a pretty decent day in Apple. 754. I don't know how much I gave back. I hadn't calculated it yet. So I don't know if I had $800 or $900 on this. Maybe $1,000 locked in on Apple before I messed this up and ended up stopping out. All right, so now here's the big daddy. Let's look at TVIX. I love it when the market's volatile and something happens and we start selling off. I love it. That's when I can make really good money. And, you know, like I said earlier, I held the 500 shares. This is my overnight position here that I mentioned in the video yesterday. And I just held on to it. You can see we never really lost it today. All through the open, we did sell off a little bit here. But all through the open, we just kind of held. And once the market took off in the wrong direction, I was there to capitalize. Covered here, covered here. Covered here at 39. Thinking that we were going to get a pullback. Oh no, we ran all the way up to 42. I gave away 3 points. I just didn't get back in. I mean, I could have jumped back in. But this was, I mean, it just hit all my targets right there. So I waited until, you know, we got a little pullback on the 2-minute chart. It didn't really look much here on the 5-minute, but we got it on the 2-minute, and I ended up taking some here. I got spooked out when we popped up and started selling off. So I took it off here. Missed this huge move again. You know, I'm telling you, after that trade this morning on TOL, I was just, mentally, I was just exhausted. You know, I had to do something to kind of recharge my mind here. So I got in here, we started selling off. I jumped out of it. This is scalping 101, which I do not do. And obviously I don't do it well, which is why I don't do it. But we pulled through and came back up. The market started selling off again. So I jumped in and was able to take some, pretty good profit here. I was looking for 45, and we almost hit it aftermarket. But I wasn't, I had gotten rid of it here. And it did go up to, I think, 44.75 at one point. But I'm, pretty pleased. $1,800 on this $2,500 day. I'm very happy. I hate I lost $300 in my small account. That, 5% will put a little dent in it. I think that puts me back under $6,000. But, having trades like this, and even though I didn't trade it clean, and I missed some of the big moves here, I missed this big move and I missed this big move, I'm still okay. I'm still okay. So, we'll look Thursday to kind of clean this up and, get refocused. But honestly, I just think mentally, I was just very tired. I went through all of that. I did a mentor session at lunch right before I came back. And I think mentally I was just beat. And we've already talked about what happens, when your mind goes. The only thing you can do is rest your eyes. Close your eyes, take a nap, do something to get this to come back. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for me today. Feel pretty good about today, very happy. So we're going to come back Thursday, see if we can right this ship, clean up this trading a little bit, and make some more money.